Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. What? Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
And plenty of good matchups over the years between Clarkston and Southfield A&T. Another one set to get rolling, and off we go from Southfield A&T High School. Clarkston in their bright yellow uniforms with the navy blue trim tonight. A&T in their home whites. Quick three off the fingertips of Nate Steinman. Off the mark. Should be a fun one tonight. Again, such a rich history between these two programs. Clarkston comes in off a win over North Farmington. They've won their last two by double digits. Before that, a prior win over West Bloomfield, 75-59. Second of a back-to-back for Clarkston. Again, that North Farmington game took place just last night, 49-39 win. On the A&T side of things, after the quick foul picked up there on Mike DiPello, hoping to pick up a win over Clarkston, which would snap what is currently a 4-game losing streak dating back to Stony Creek in late February. Since then, they've lost Bloomfield Hills, Troy, Groves. Offensive production has been the issue in each of those 4 games, and finding that consistently. So where does it come from tonight against a Clarkston team that has been very good defensively of late? Anthony Davis, who is such a wonderful distributor, found the cutter on that occasion. It was Antonio King. Couldn't quite finish. King gets the start tonight with Banks down low. Caleb Banks, the 6'6" force in the paint for this A&T team, where most of their offense comes from. And Jalen Mack at the 3. Zamir Dixon gets the start as well, in addition to, again, the backcourt with Anthony Davis. So a pretty well-rounded starting lineup for this A&T team. Banks with a high catch out near the three-point line. He can shoot from out there, not ideal. So can Mack. That is a bit more ideal. He drains it. The senior Jalen Mack at 6'2", able to drop that shot down to break the scoring seal tonight between A&T and Clarkston. Mike DiPillo, they drop down low. And answering right back is the 6'8" senior center Luke Scherler, one of 3 seniors on the Clarkston roster. Had 10 points and 9 rebounds last night against North Farmington. Right back into the paint comes Caleb Banks. We thought it would be a fun center versus center matchup. Scherler, Banks. Banks 6'6", Scherler 6'8". Who can win that battle tonight is something to keep an eye on. Steinman to Scherler right on cue. Couldn't finish, rebound to Banks, and a fun start to this one. A&T hoping to push the pace. Mack thought about a 3. He's already knocked one down. Instead steps in and drills the 15-footer. A 7-2 start for A&T, just what the doctor ordered, because early on in games this season, particularly during this losing streak, we've seen them go on dry spells, and not the case today, at least in the early stages. Offensive board for Clarkston, capitalizing is Mike DiPillo, the 6'6" senior, again, one of those 3 seniors on the Clarkston roster that can make an impact. He has a vastly expanded role this year, which you can say of about 4 different guys in the yellow jerseys tonight. We'll delve into what Clarkston lost in the offseason to graduation and both the transfers. Banks, perhaps the most key part of the A&T offense, unable to drill the 3 there, but he can hit that at 6'6", 250. Keegan Wasilic, the player who really makes this Clarkston offense run. There's a lot of off-ball movement. You'll see it on display there. Tracking down the board and saving it initially was Zach Austin, a very athletic player, similar to Jalen Mack on the A&T side. 2 guys that will probably be matched up against one another tonight that have endless motors. And it's fun to watch. Meanwhile, Zamir Dixon, who is one of the Dixon brothers on the floor today, I should say. His twin brother Xander, difficult to tell them apart when you don't have number 4 on the back of Zamir and number 3 on the back of Xander. Zamir gets the start today. We'll try not to confuse that, because They do look eerily similar. In the corner, Davis knocks down a three. It's a 10-4 start for A&T at home against a Clarkston team that has been rolling of late. But you wonder where Clarkston's basketball legs are entering today, having played just last night. The finger roll from Wasilk couldn't finish. The stick back is good. Keegan Wasilk, 6'3" junior guard who has stepped into a leadership and responsibility role unlike his first 2 years. The scoring weight is fully on his shoulders this season. Typically, at the end of the day, you'll find Wasilk leading this Clarkston group in points, assists, rebounds, and he takes pride in that. Right on cue, comes away with the steal. And then a beautiful handle to split the double. Up ahead to DePillo. The shovel down low. Zach Austin got the layup. However, an offensive foul called prior to that. Jalen Mack, another guy who is just an omnipresent force. We noted his energy offensively and defensively that time. Did well to get back and take the charge. Meanwhile, Quante Pryor checks in for the Warriors. And Desmond Stevens, the freshman on varsity for Clarkston, instantly has the matchup of guarding a senior in Anthony Davis on the A&T side. Now he gets the switch on Mack, another senior. Davis goes baseline. The Banks, easy finish down low for the 6'6" senior center, regarded as one of the best post players in Oakland County. He was ranked the 7th best player overall in Oakland County entering the season. Keegan Wasilk also in that top 50 on the Clarkston side. Board is inhaled by Jalen Mack. Up ahead to Davis. Quick up, fortuitously found the hands of Quante Pryor, a near turnover there. This time they do turn it over. It's Wasilk, 2-on-1 with Stevens, having trouble corralling it. Pryor gets back, so does Mack to strip it away. And that'll send us to break, as Clarkston couldn't quite capitalize on the fast break opportunity. It's a 12-6 A&T lead at home on Cable 15.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
.225 to play in the opening quarter of what has been a really fun first about 6.5 minutes of action here at Southfield A&T High School. And back and forth, A&T certainly the underdog in this matchup. Jalen Mack has been a key part of an ideal start. Jumper was short, board to Wasilk. Into the corner for Stevens. Freshman unable to knock down his first shot. The reload, however, from Isaiah Harris, who is an adept three-point shooter. Board vacuumed in by the 6'8" Luke Scherler. And a fourth opportunity on this possession for Clarkston. It is the fourth time the charm. Scherler ran into a double. Harris, kick out. Double teams coming early for A&T and working. Mack with those long strides in transition. Opts to stop and pop. Couldn't quite knock it down. Quick outlet feed. Wasilk looking for reinforcements. Opts to curl under the rim and takes it himself. Crafty finish from Keegan Wasilk. Averaged a shade under 11 points per game last season. A little over 7 rebounds in addition to that. 6.3 assists. A wonderful distributor. Superb ball handler. Adept shooter. 70 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Davis, triple try. In the midst, hauling in the board, Zach Austin. Really good rebounding guard, by the way. Harris, the shovel. Stevens thought about it. Wasilk against Mack. Tough floater. Has a nice touch around the rim, but ran into two taller players there. And A&T, with under a minute to go in the first quarter, can slow things down a bit. Banks finishes off the glass. Anthony Davis and Caleb Banks. That's a wonderful duo between guard and center. Those two have a neat chemistry. This is Scherler and Banks, that matchup we talked about. Banks won that round with the pickpocket of the taller Scherler at 6'8". With no fans in the building, you can hear the A&T sideline calling out one shot. And they'll indeed take it. Time is dwindling on quarter number 1. 5 seconds to work with for Davis. 4 seconds into the paint, lost it. And this will go to Clarkston with just a mere 1.6 left on the first quarter clock. That'll do it for a sparkling first quarter of action on Cable 15, 14-8. Southfield A&T lead after 1.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Quante Pryor will get us rolling here in the second quarter. Again, such an ideal offensive start for A&T through those first few minutes. Travel called there prior to the bucket going in. A&T also avoided that, turning the basketball over, which is something that has really hindered their offense throughout the course of this most recent 4-game losing streak. The last loss came against Groves, 56-49. Again, that was last night. Both teams on the second end of a back-to-back. Clarkston fresh off a 10-point win over North Farmington on Thursday night. Now a little Friday night action on Southfield Cable 15. With Silk, a rare turnover. Outlet feed. A&T trying to take advantage. Davis does. Throughout the course of the 4-game losing streak, Anthony Davis has perhaps been a bright spot. The leadership has been consistent, which they've needed during this dry spell. His effort on the defensive end, which typically translates to offensive buckets, has been there. And overall, most importantly, perhaps the facilitating hasn't lacked. But A&T hasn't capitalized enough when they've had opportunities during this 4-game losing streak. Banks trying to get him involved early, which has been key in wins this season. Back comes with Silk, hoping to push the pace and take A&T out of their comfort zone a bit. For the most part, Southfield A&T loves to stay in their half-court sets, go through Banks, block out on the perimeter by those lengthy arms of Jalen Mack. Second chance is good, however, from Wasilk. Ranked the 19th best player in Oakland County entering this season. They dubbed him the ultimate leader of this Clarkston group. He understands the tradition of this program, understands the responsibility of being a point guard in the Clarkston uniform, a position that has such great history at Clarkston High School. You think of Foster Lawyer most recently, the 2018 state championship team. But tight matchups between these two schools in recent years. Beautiful back cut and a finish. Antonio King with the left hand after the nifty cut. Game high 8-point lead for the Warriors. Shade under 6 to play in what's been a fun first half. Nate Steinman got it down low to DePillo, tried to go glass. Mack never secured the rebound. Behind a screen, a Steinman 3. No. We noted with Silk's skills on the glass, he's a point guard, but when a shot goes up, you typically find him in the paint, and more often than not, he's gotten past the man that's supposed to be boxing him out. Same story on that possession, and it's a 6-point game, 2-possession game now. For your A&T, consistency is key tonight. Can you piece together a 4-quarter performance? That has been the question mark all season long. Giveaways won't help. Mack will like to have that possession back. 4-on-1 the other way, and Wasilk draws the foul on Antonio King.
Personal foul number 11, Antonio King. His first, team's first. Shooting 2, Keegan Wasilk.
We mentioned Zamir Dixon got the start. Here's the other half of the twin duo. Xander makes his way in for A&T. As with Silk, drains the free throw. 4-point game. Jalen Carpenter, who has a wonderful understanding of this A&T offense at the controls right now, as Anthony Davis, who started the game at point guard, will take a breather. Dangerous, ambitious feed, intercepted by Wasilk. He'll push another odd man rush the other way and turns into 2 points on the finishing end this time is the freshman Desmond Stevens. Football and basketball player at Clarkston, perhaps a key part of the future of this program, just a freshman on varsity. Has some size though, 6'1", 175. Completes the three-point play, and it's a 7-0 run for the Wolves on the road. You talk about resiliency. Clarkston has built their program on fortitude, toughness, skill. Obviously, they've had some pretty decent players come through that uniform, but they never give in. And that's a key part of the fabric and the fiber of this Clarkston basketball program that has had so much success through the years. 3:42 to play in the opening half, with Silk able to tip that out of bounds. The head coach of the Clarkston program, Tim Wasilk, is actually the uncle of Keegan Wasilk. A family connection there. And Tim Wasilk took over for the illustrious Dan Fife in 2018. Fife retired at 69 years of age with 703 wins under his belt. Over 36 years of coaching to make him the third winningest coach in state history. Just such a staple. When you think Clarkston basketball, you think Dan Fife. So Wasilk certainly stepped into some very large shoes. Fife was a mentor to Wasilk for a number of years. Wasilk coached Clarkston girls basketball for a decade before joining the boys staff as an assistant in 2015, then took over for this decorated program in 2018. The horn sounded during that free throw attempt. They get a substitution in here. Meanwhile, tie game as the run is now 8-0 for Clarkston with 3:22 to play in the second quarter. Been a few minutes since the last Southfield A&T bucket. Clarkston on a winning streak entering tonight of 2 in a row, one last night against North Farmington. Get a foul called here on Luke Scherler, who got off to an excellent start in this game. Down low against Banks. And Scherler at 6'8". Banks checks back in, though, at 6'6". So that matchup is back on in the posts. And try to feed it to Banks, but Scherler did well to deny the entry. Davis able to scoot past Harris. Confusion in the paint. Floater. Antonio King looking for his second bucket. Wasn't there. Carpenter finally gets it to drop. And snaps a streak of 8 consecutive points by Clarkston without an A&T bucket. Scherler's pass was too hot to handle. In the backcourt, A&T wants the violation, and they'll get it. One official may have thought that tipped off a hand of an A&T player, but it didn't. So it is a backcourt violation. A&T head coach Daryl Buchanan looking on. You see Tim Wasilk at the bottom of your screen there. Again, took over in 2018. Long three from King. Got his own board, which coaches love. However, Dixon couldn't finish. Does Clarkston want to push? The trailer is Schurler when barreling into traffic. And a foul called.
Personal foul number 3, Xander Dixon. That's his second, team's fourth.
With Silk so calm and comfortable. Found the open man in the form of Nate Steinman, who's still trying to find his range tonight. Again, another player who's seeing his role expanded this year after a couple of key departures in the offseason for Clarkston. It's a Wolves team that lost their 7'1" center, Matt Nicholson, who's now playing at Northwestern. Fletcher Lawyer, who was an incredibly skilled scorer, transferred to Homestead High School, which is a powerhouse down in Indiana. When you think about the production between Nicholson and Fletcher Lawyer a season ago, that's 33 combined points per game when you add it up. Half a minute to go, meanwhile, in this first half of play. With Silk, Steinman, corner pocket, book it. And Clarkston has their first lead of the game. A&T can play for the final shot. The senior, Jalen Mack. Hand it off to a fellow senior in Anthony Davis. Working against Harris. Poked it away. Desperation heave is off the window. 1 point lead after a beautiful close for Clarkston. That included scoring 11 of the final 14 points in that half. The second half of play underway, a 1 point differential between A&T and Clarkston. Early turnover as they tried to force the feed down low to Banks. He's pretty tall, but not that tall. 6'6", 250 pounds. Had a thinner build in years past, but getting set to play Division I football next year for Louisville is DePillo, who is a football player himself, starting quarterback actually on the Clarkston football team at 6'6", gets the bucket to go. On the note, though, of Banks, he's also 6'6" and a defensive end, so he's kind of DePillo's worst nightmare. Starting defensive end and starting quarterback on the floor on both sides right now. Here's the defensive end barreling to the rim, couldn't finish. Schurler got in his way. Banks able to corral it, though, on the second chance. And now A&T can reset and recalculate. Mack tried to force a pass into his fellow senior Bank. Looks like it was kicked. And to get back to that football note, Banks actually didn't know he really even wanted to be a football player in college until he tried it out in the latter stages of his athletic career. Early on, basketball was his favorite sport, as you see him step back there and come up short. He always thought that would be the game he'd play in college, but a family member said to him one day, hey, you're 6'6", 250. You might as well at least give football a whirl. He did. And now if you talk to him, Banks will tell you, I don't know where I'd be without the game of football. Funny how life comes full circle sometimes. Still loves the game of basketball, obviously, though. He is a key cog in what A&T tries to do on a night in and night out basis. Warriors trail by 5 after, at one point, they led by 9 in the first half. Xander Dixon, Jalen Mack, the athletic strides, perhaps took too many on that occasion, and he's called for the travel. So that'll give the ball back to Clarkston. It is Daryl Buchanan, the head coach for A&T, unhappy with the most recent sequence that his team has put together. Slipping to the rim for a smooth finish on that occasion was Silk, the leader at the point guard spot for Clarkston. The Wolves have scored 17 of the last 19 points in this game. We'll step aside.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Back inside of Southfield A&T High School, where again, the Wolves have scored 17 of the last 19 in this one, dating back to the second quarter. A&T desperately trying to piece together some offensive momentum out of the Daryl Buchanan timeout. Davis defended tightly by Steinman, as we've seen throughout the night. Slipped to the fingertips of Mack, has to save it. No shot clock in the state of Michigan, so he can comfortably reset. Only 8 states do have a shot clock. Michigan is not one of them. 2 of the more notables are California and New York. Pass is deflected. Not the clean first half that we saw from A&T so far. Outlet feed, Banks will take advantage. .440 to play in the third, back to a 5-point game. 3 in the corner. Swirls around and out from Steinman. DePillo at 6'6", vacuumed in the board. His stick back and no good. Banks into Scherler. Back-to-back possessions with a bucket for Banks, and it's a 3-point game. Have to keep your head on a swivel the other way. Flying in transition for a Clarkston team that doesn't get up and down the floor too often. Zach Austin can, though, the athletic forward who does just about it all for this Wolves squad. Dixon 3, strong. Mack the offensive rebound. Looks like it's a foul on the screen offensively. And Caleb Banks wasn't quite set. He's moving there. Just its first team foul in this third quarter. This Clarkston program, as we noted, one of the most decorated in the state, if not the most decorated. Follow-up attempt from DePillo off the mark. 50 league championships, 41 district titles, 14 regional titles, 2 state championships, the most recent coming in 2018 for this Wolves team. And hot right now, having won their last 4. By contrast, A&T has lost their last 4 games. Clarkston finding their groove at the right time here in early March as we venture into the latter stages of the season. Davis buries a 3. 2-point game. Believe it or not, though, it has been 3 years since Clarkston last won a a district title, but at least 35 straight seasons of at least a league or district championship. That's about as open as you'll get today in this matchup. However, Austin couldn't find the range that time. But such an indispensable asset, Zach Austin. Does it on both ends of the floor. Plays a lot of minutes, too. Wasilk will run with Austin, and Wasilk opts to finish himself.
Basket's good. Personal foul, number 11, Anthony.
Mentioned Keegan Wasilk's expanded role after Matt Nicholson graduated, and now he's gone on to play for Northwestern. Fletcher Lawyer, who took the brunt of the scoring load a season ago and likely maybe would have been the leading scorer this year had he stayed in a Clarkston uniform. Just to give you an idea of how skilled of a scorer Fletcher Lawyer is, who transferred from Clarkston to Homestead High School in Indiana. Lawyer broke the Homestead High School scoring record earlier this season, scoring 50 points in a game, a career high, at a school where basketball is no joke. Homestead has had some players over the years that have been really good at the Division I level. Doesn't really matter what level. They just pump out college players seemingly every year on both the men's and women's side. So that was a key asset offensively to lose. And because of that, Keegan Wasilk will tell you, I'm the guy offensively, not in a selfish way, but just knowing that he has to take over that load. And he's done it this year. Beautiful back cut, the feed. The finish was denied, though. Zach Austin the block on Antonio King, and back come the Wolves. The pass intercepted by Xavier James. He's fouled.
Zach Austin. His first. Team's first.
Into the final minute of the third quarter. 5 points separating Clarkston and A&T, make it 3. Banks getting involved. We noted he would have to do that for the Warriors to stick with this Wolves team. Not only have they stuck with them, but for the most part, they matched the energy. They've played a clean game. Can you do that in the fourth quarter? When the stakes are at their highest, will be the question mark. Before you can think about that, this final minute feels pretty big. Davis has such a good understanding of this offense at the controls right now for A&T as they get the offense orchestrated. Tried to give a post entry down low to Davis. He was fouled from behind.
Number 3, Nathan Stiping. His first. Team second.
Under 40 seconds to play in the third. A near turnover, it will be a giveaway. Blocked at the other end off the window, but the follow-up from Wasilk is good after the steal from Austin. We do have a Warrior down. It is James, and we'll step aside on Cable 15. Back inside Southfield A&T High School as time winds down on the third quarter. 5-point game after the last turnover and bucket at the other end. James off the floor now, by the way. Dixon is in for A&T. Xander Dixon, by the way, his brother Zamir on the bench. 10 seconds to work with. King fires over DePillo, which is a tough task against the 6'6 DePillo. We've got a foul called down low on Schurler, going for the board. So one last gasp for A&T in this third quarter. Banks unable to finish on that last possession. 5-point advantage for Clarkston after 3.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
Final 8 minutes of play here on Southfield Cable 15. What's been a fun matchup so far tonight between two teams that have played each other like this in recent years. Seems to always be tight, no matter the venue, no matter what team is in what stage of the process. A&T in desperate need of a win, having lost their last 4. Schurler uses the glass. Haven't seen him step out today and knock down the mid-range J. Had 10 points and 9 rebounds last night. One shy of the double-double. One of 3 different Wolves who were in double figures on Thursday night in that 10-point win over North Farmington. Long-range 3 from Mack. Not afraid to step out and take it himself. A bit over-ambitious there. Silk, this is his game, driving to the rim. Denied at the cup by Dixon, but let's look at Silk, stick with it. Nearly got it back to Schurler. Stepping in the passing lane, however, is King. Finally to Banks, who was denied, though, by DePillo. The quarterback just swatted the defensive end. A little payback, perhaps, from the fear that defensive ends usually instill in the minds of QBs. Back comes DePillo. Then he finishes offensively. Mike DePillo, the starting QB at 6'6" for the Clarkston football team, getting it done both offensively and defensively on the basketball court tonight. Another player with a vastly expanded role this season after Matt Nicholson's departure by way of graduation. Their 7'1" center who's now playing at Northwestern. Into the paint, blocked. Clarkston, their largest lead of the night now at 9. Anthony Davis able to stem the tide, cuts it to 7. 5:40 to play in the fourth quarter. Silk carves his way around the defense and able to put it off the window and down. Lead is again at the highest for Clarkston. 5:17 to play in the fourth quarter. Stage of the game where A&T can't let this slip out of their grasp. They've had moments in the past this season where perhaps it's within striking distance, late stages of games, but just can't quite close it out or piece together the full four-quarter effort that they need. We talked about that early in the matchup. Could they find a four-quarter performance? Davis was nearly blocked. Last-minute decision to find Banks down low. Now they reset and recalculate out high. Timeout called by Gerald Buchanan on the A&T sideline. Warriors trying to find a spurt when we come back.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Let's go. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Thanks for joining us. Wonderful commercial there during Women's History Month. Again, 9-point advantage for Southfield, or beg your pardon, for Clarkston in the latter stages of this fourth quarter. Noted that Tim Wasilk on the Clarkston sideline, and the men's head coach since 2018, formerly was the girls' coach for a decade. This team trying to hang on right now in what has been a fun matchup overall today. A&T led early in the first quarter, had an advantage of as much as 9. Now the script has flipped, and Clarkston, who after A&T had a wonderful start, went on a stretch of scoring 17 of 19 points in this game, which really established their grip on the matchup, and they haven't really let it go since then. DePillo has been excellent in this second half. Turned it over there, though, and back come the Warriors. Mack, long 3, got it. 6-point game.
Delay of game warning, Southfield A&T.
A delay of game warning called on the A&T sideline. Big defensive possessions down the stretch for the Warriors. Everyone matters now. Still a 2-possession game. DePillo, shovel, lovely feed. The finish wasn't in store for Austin. Tie up. A timeout called prior to the tie-up by A&T. Smart timeout called, 2:42 to play in the fourth on Cable 15.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Time dwindling on the A&T comeback effort. Still certainly within reach. As usual, a tight finish between Clarkston and A&T. Run down to the wire. Mack, he's already hit one long 3 in this quarter and finds another. Couple of big shots from a senior. He has 6 points in this fourth quarter, all by way of the 3-point line, and it's a 3-point game. Silk nearly slipped. Dixon all over him in his left hip pocket. This is the closest A&T has been since the early stages of the third. Beautiful feed on the wraparound. That's what Silk does. Draws defenders because he leads the team in scoring, but also is an adept passer, leading the team in assists. Finds perhaps his most important assist of the night there to get Clarkston back out to a 5-point lead. 1:40 to play in the fourth. Jalen Mack is a heat check in store on this trip. He has the last 6 points for A&T. Dixon with the ball right now. Davis, not afraid of the big moments as well. This time Mack, he'll look for his third 3. Came up shy. Was feeling it. Almost knew that was going to happen at some point on that possession. Now 70 seconds left, and A&T needs a stop. Cruising into the paint with Silk, lost it, travel called. 52.6 to go. A timeout called by A&T. We'll see if they draw up when we come back.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Within the final minute, A&T down to their last couple of possessions. Trailing by 5. Jalen Mack has their last 6 points. Both from 3. Davis will try his hand at a triple. Strong. Banks couldn't corral the rebound. Wasilk emerges out of the pack with it. I think at this stage, you want to foul. Come away with the steal, though. That's even better. Is it a tie-up will be the next question mark. A travel. Possession looks like it's going to stay. It is a travel, so it's going to stay with Clarkston after Antonio King did come away with a clean steal, but then was called for steps. So under 30 seconds to play, Warriors trying to force a turnover again. Timeout called by Tim Wasilk this time. We'll step aside on Cable 15.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Mike DePillo, the senior, to inbound for Clarkston. Trying to wrap this one up on the road. Just playing keep away at the moment with under 10 seconds to go. A&T finally fouls. Not entirely sure what the wait was for, but nonetheless, it stops the clock at 6.3.
Fouls on Antonio King, his third, team's third.
The foul is on King. Still have one to give. Wasilk stays away from Mack as long as he can.
Jalen Mack, his first, team's fourth.
That was only the 4th. The fouling certainly strategically came a little too late. Remember, they did force that steal, but then a travel was called, so it appeared as though A&T may have given themselves another chance. Now, definitely too little too late. A backcourt inbounds will come here for Clarkston. It's an A&T team that will drop their 5th in a row.
Fouls on Jalen Mack, his third, team
This
sixth.
is the 3rd on Jalen Mack. Back-to-back nights, back-to-back wins for Clarkston. Took care of North Farmington by 10 on Thursday night. A 5-point advantage on this occasion. A little tighter, same result. Pleasure to have you with us on Cable 15. Have a wonderful week.